Good morning. My name is Richard Hudson from North Carolina. As a father of an elementary school kid, I am absolutely devastated every time we have a school shooting. I can't imagine the pain and the horror of those parents when they go through something like that. And that's why I've worked so hard all these years to prevent these tragedies. There are only two significant gun safety bills have recently passed Congress. Both were Republican bills, passed by Republican majorities, signed by a Republican president. The House Democrat mantra has been do something. The American people want us to do something. But House Republicans have said we want to do something that matters. That's why I introduced legislation this week, H.R. 7966, Stop to Secure Every School and Protect Our Nation's Children's Act. This bill would put $1 billion into grants to hire school resource officers, $1 billion to hire guidance counselors in schools, and $5 billion into the Stop School Violence Act to harden schools, to provide training on active shooter scenarios for law enforcement, and to help school officials and students learn to better engage, identify and students who are in trouble before they reach a breaking point in these schools. That's $7 billion paid for with unused COVID funds. Republicans have come to the table with real solutions. We have 12 pieces of legislation we've introduced this Congress that would all address this issue. House Democrats have shown no interest in coming to the table and talking to us about these solutions. Instead, they're exploiting these tragedies to advance their radical gun control agenda. The bills on the floor this week would have done nothing to stop any of these tragedies, and they will never become law. I look at all the newspapers today, Punch Bowl, Washington Post, every single one of them says that not a single one of these bills is going to become law. The Senate is not even going to take them up. So why are the House Democrats doing this? They're doing this because they want to do something so they can say they did something. They want to do something to change the political narrative in this election this fall. And I say shame on the House Democrats. You realize that today they're bringing an 11-year-old girl here who 2 weeks ago smeared herself in her classmates' blood to try to fool the shooter in Uvalde. They're bringing in parents who 2 weeks ago lost their children, and they're having them testify. And they've lied to them, and they've said, if you'll come testify, we'll pass these bills. They're exploiting the pain of these people, these children, these parents, to advance their radical interest. And I say shame on them. I say to Nancy Pelosi, stop this cynical, disgusting charade and come to the table. We are here. We want to talk. We want to negotiate. We want to solve this problem. We want to save children's lives. And I call on you, the members of the media. Hold them accountable. Ask the tough questions. Ask them which one of these bills would have stopped Uvalde. Ask them why they're advancing red flag legislation when New York already has red flag legislation and it didn't stop the Buffalo shooting. Ask them why they won't come to the table, and let's look at hardening schools. Let's look at how do we intervene with kids in trouble. Imagine if we'd intervened with this Uvalde shooter before he dropped out of high school. What a difference that would make. Thank you. I will now yield to the ranking member on the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Jim Jordan.